Just when you thought the days of Marvel reshoots, big ones, were over, well, guess again. After some rather bad test screenings and the fact that the movie wasn't even ready to be shot in the first place, Captain America 4, Brave New World, that's been pushed back a full year, yeah, this is going to have a hard time actually hitting profitability. We'll talk about why. Renegade Online. Captain America Brave New World reshoots underway. New pages, new mystery character. It's Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad fame, who's a fabulous actor, who's also Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. He's now going to be part of the MCU as some villainous character.
I think I know who he is.
Who?
I think that he's Bushman, the Moon Knight villain. Because if you look at him and how his outfit looks, and you look at Bushman the character, it's somewhat similar. And apparently, the guy that wrote Moon Knight,
I was about to say that. Yep.
is rewriting Captain America.
Yeah, they got the Moon Knight showrunner, a writer, to do this. They're reshooting for 22 days. So I did not catch this initially when we were covering this article yesterday. I think it was on Tom's show. And there was something in here that jumped out at me. So apparently, this is the first set of reshoots, is what they're saying, for this film. Because we were speculating last year when they announced that they were pushing the release back a full year. They were moving Captain Falcon from February or whatever, no, May of this year it was supposed to come out. It's supposed to come out last month. They pushed it all the way back till February of 25. So almost a whole year. And we thought at that point, okay, they're undergoing reshoots. There were rumors out there that suggested that they'd had test screenings for this that did not go over well. Well, apparently all that was true, because they even bring up the test screenings that were done, and they're saying that these are the reshoots because they brought in a writer late last year, November, December, after they decided to push the release. He was working on the script through December, and what we're seeing now, the reshoots we're seeing now, are the first set of reshoots that are stemming from this rewrite. And while 22 days isn't the 40 days or 50 days or whatever we had for Doctor Strange, 22 days is still a pretty significant amount of photography.
Well, let's get real for a minute. Here's the question for this show, because you're a financial guy. How much is this freaking movie going to cost?
Well, there's also something interesting in this article as well. If I can scroll, I thought I had it highlighted, but I must have tipped it. They're suggesting that this movie is not going to cost as much as the Marvels, which I'm like, well, that whole movie was reshot. But yeah, here you go. The guy from Marvel's Moon Knight was hired to work on new pages in December. Here we go. This is it. Despite reports of multiple reshoots on the movie, this is from The Hollywood Reporter. So far, this is the only one. It does not appear to be as extensive as the reshoots that faced Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which lasted 6 weeks, so about 42 days, nor the expensive and extensive reshoots endured by the Marvels. In fact, one insider from somewhere, says that Brave New World, Captain America 4, will cost significantly less than the Marvels overall. What we don't know for sure yet is what the final tally on the Marvels was, and it's probably going to be at least another year or so before we find out. They did a lot of shooting in the UK, so they've been reporting there. We know up through the most recent report that came out, I think in the last 6 months that they filed, the price tag, we know it's going well north of $300 million. It has to be. And it's probably going to get to or perhaps breach $400 million US dollars before tax credits. But again, we're talking about they're saying this is significantly less. I don't know what significantly means to them. You know, this is going to be 250? What are we thinking, guys?
But there's no way it's 250. There's
No way.
I wouldn't think so either. I mean, here's the thing. $300 million for Captain America 4 could still be significantly cheaper than Captain Marvel. That's how bad the Marvels. That's how bad. Well, that one was bad too.
There's no way it's 300. There's no way.
I don't know.
way.
This thing's
Yeah,
been. How long have they been trying to make this thing?
No way.
Well, okay, so original principal photography wrapped up early last year, just before the strikes began. Kind of finished up right around the same time, I think, as The Acolyte finished filming early last year. So this sat around, and they started doing
had to
tests.
be maintained. All this had to be maintained for months during the strike.
Yeah, and apparently the strike had impacted some of the post-production, apparently, probably because they knew they had already wanted to do reshoots, but that got backed up. But you look here, what they talk about, Brave New World operating under a hazy shroud ever since it wrapped principal photography in the spring of 23, so right about a year ago. The movie that stars Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson takes up the mantle of Captain America, barely escaped the direct impacts of the writers and actor strikes. Thunderbolts, Deadpool, and Wolverine and Blade were forced to shut down or delay production, with Blade still nowhere being close to any, and nothing's even starting with that. Even though it managed to wrap principal before the strikes, Brave New World's post-production was hampered and delayed. As the actor strike ended in November, Marvel moved Brave New World's release date from July to February, probably because they already knew at that point this movie is not ready. We just spent $200 million to make a movie, and we figured out once again, after we finished shooting it, after we wrapped principal photography, that this script sucks and the movie's going to fail. And then test screenings apparently confirmed it. But then at that point, they were stuck. They couldn't do reshoots because of the actor strike. And the writer strike was still going on. And they couldn't hire a writer to come back in during the strikes to fix the script, which is why this guy didn't start writing it until November, December of last year, after the strikes were over, and then get it to a point where it was like, yeah, let's do this, and set up a shooting schedule. Here we are now with the shooting that just started a couple of days ago, apparently. So
I'll guarantee you,
days.
every time Harrison Ford gets drugged back out on the set, he does it for free. Every time.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. But I mean, guys, what are we thinking? What are we expecting from this movie? Does anybody have any thoughts like this? They got to do this on this movie, or it's dead. I mean,
It's already dead. It's already dead. There's no. The only thing about this movie that seems interesting at all to me is the fact that it's apparently about the Eternals, like celestial thing that's at the end. That was at the end of that movie.
Oh, God, is it really?
Apparently, so what I'm hearing from the plot that I've been hearing is that the whole plot of the movie is basically that celestial that was in Eternals that's in the water that everyone's like, what? Why isn't the world talking about it? Mm-hmm. The entire plot is about that celestial, and apparently that's the source of adamantium for the MCU, like Wolverine's claws.
Yeah.
And it's essentially the world is fighting over this new resource that's very obviously it's adamantium, is strong as hell, right?
I personally love the idea of connecting Wolverine to the Eternals. This is the greatest idea ever. Good job,
yeah,
Marvel.
I mean, yeah,
hey,
exactly.
Endymion, here's you a question. Okay, folks, let's step into the modern Marvel debate that should be. Endymion, which one's deader? This one or Thunderbolts? Which one's deader?
I think Captain America's deader because
think
it's not. I
Lord.
think Thunderbolts will probably be better received than this, and I don't think Thunderbolts will be good. Will be good either. By the way, but I'm just saying that based on this, like at least Thunderbolts, to some degree, at least it has Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier. It's going to have whatever Florence Pugh,
the guy who should have been Captain America. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and it's going to have like, at least some sort of like interesting kind of element to it because Sentry's in it and stuff, I guess. But no one really buys Sam Wilson as Captain America, mostly because it's just another, like, in my opinion, it's sort of like a racist thing that Disney does, is that Falcon already had his own unique identity as Falcon. And then they basically looked at him and went, your identity is lesser than being known as this character that's predominantly white. So we're going to basically change your name to Captain America. And no one really wanted that. So personally, I don't really want to see a Captain America movie with Falcon as Captain America.
He's not superpowered. How does he even throw the shield?
That's another thing too.
How does any of this work?
Because if he's flying around with his head exposed, I mean, we've all, hit our head on a cabinet or something. Like, this guy would be bruised instantly from anything that hits him. It's not believable, right? So
that's his superpower. That's his superpower.
Yeah, I just
he can crash on his head and survive.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Blackton, America.
And then apparently, also the villain is apparently the leader, like the Incredible Hulk villain, and then Red Hulk's in it.
Red
Harrison
Hulk
Ford apparently doesn't even know that he's Hulk in it because
needs more Agatha.
Harrison Ford. He doesn't care. I don't think this will do well at all. And apparently, I remember hearing back when they were doing the reshoots before, is that this movie was originally supposed to have a scene in it that was essentially the January 6th, or was it January 6th, January 7th, whatever it was.
There was something.
They're supposed to have something like that.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that.
So no, this movie, I think it's dead on arrival. I really don't see it being good. There's no way it's better than Winter Soldier, especially, which I still think is the best Captain America movie. Or one of the best MCU movies in general. It's great.
Let me throw this at y'all. I mentioned this yesterday on another stream. How bad is the failure of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny impacting these next two major films? And the reason I bring that up, the Dial of Destiny was supposed to put Harrison Ford back front and center as a box office smash, back as Indy on his final ride. A Disney movie, mind you, from Lucasfilm, a sister studio to Marvel. At the same time, they were planning on getting Harrison Ford lit up and putting him in the MCU. And Indy failed. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was a complete disastrous box office flop.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be much energy coming into this because, they're supposed to be touting Harrison Ford is going to play a major role now in the MCU, and now it's like, who cares?
So you're saying that Fleabag should not play Rogue?
Probably not.
Oh man, I was hearing rumors that they want to get a diverse actor to play Rogue, and it's just
no.
Hey Disney, check out Sephora over in Connecticut. We've got someone for you.
Exactly. Harrison Ford.
Hey Gambit, you're looking really good over there. Wish I could touch you.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.